Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my...
It's 7 a.m. Time for the opening drive.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico
for 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Got a text yesterday afternoon, and it just said, this league is just nuts. And it is. So that's why you watch it. That's why it's hard to bet. It's why you play your games, your fantasy games. Your team's never out of it, or maybe your team's never in it. But it's bonkers that the guy, I literally, on the show before us as I was show prepping, listened to a guy tell me, yeah, that's why Andy Dalton should have been starting the whole time. Said nobody. Until he went out and threw for 316 yards and 3 touchdowns yesterday against the Raiders. It is bonkers. Boy, do we got a lot to do today. Coming off a Lobo loss, homecoming with 17 penalties on Saturday past, 38-21 to Fresno State. Aggies lose at Sam Houston, 31-11, so they're on course for a clash down in Las Cruces this weekend. Great college football on Saturday. Tremendous stuff yesterday. Good morning to you. Merry Monday, and welcome to the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. How you living?
Oh, what it do?
How was the weekend?
It's good.
Yeah. Broncos got a big win. They look like a football team. Look like they had a quarterback.
It's that league, man.
It's bonkers, isn't it? That was your easiest bet, wasn't it?
No, like right when I said it on Friday, I was like, I should take the other side because of the trends of the NFL, which is
double digit or big dogs.
NFL underdogs of 5.5 points are now 13-2 against the spread this year.
And I almost took the Rams, right? Remember I said I want to take them, but I didn't. And yeah, I understand it. Bo Nix, 25 of 36, 216 yards, played controlled football. And they beat back a Tampa Bay team that had been undefeated, had been scoring a lot of points. Bronco defense might be legit. But they get a big win on the road. Baker Mayfield only 163 yards, had an interception, was sacked 7 times by that Denver defense. And as much as Bo Nix took a big step yesterday, your defense gives you a chance to win. I don't know how many games the Broncos are going to win. If I said 4.5 over under, I'd struggle with an answer. I get the Jets and the Raiders and the Chargers coming up. I don't know that any, and then the Saints and the Panthers. I don't know that anything's not winnable. But when your quarterback plays like that, and this is going to be an evolution now. And we talked on Friday how hard it is for rookies. Ask Caleb Williams, right? Ask him how hard it is to come into this league. Bo Nix, I think that they gave him a nice game plan. I thought he looked under control. It kind of, for a week, looks like he got a quarterback.
It does, and you just have to be patient with these young quarterbacks. Even if they play bad, you can't overanalyze it in 2 to 3 weeks and say, this player can't do it, this or that. And with Bo Nix, it's still the quickness that you like, getting the football out of his hands, making the decision to run, scrambled, scored another rushing touchdown, took off 9 times for 47 yards, so he can get out of some bad situations. It's what you want to see. It's a development. It's a step forward. He's going to have quarters. He's going to have halves of bad football. But you play like that, quick passing game, smart decisions, good things can happen.
What was the most stunning result to you from yesterday? Was it the Broncos winning the way they won and beating down the Buccaneers
no,
on
because
the
I
road?
think the Buccaneers, you credit them, but you see there's a lot of deficiencies still now.
All right, so that wasn't it. Giants winning in Cleveland. Was it the Raiders just getting freaking run out of their building by the Panthers, or the Rams coming back as beat up as they are, and the Niners are too? By the way, I told you about Juwan Jennings. I tried to get him in 2 leagues, couldn't get him. He went bonkers yesterday in your fantasy team. Or the Rams coming back and beating the Niners.
It was Andy Dalton becoming the first NFL quarterback this season to throw for over 300 yards with 3 touchdowns.
How many fantasy, like percentage-wise? Do you think anybody picked up Andy Dalton and put him on their team?
There's, like, if you play in a super flex league
or
a
two quarterbacks. Yeah, I got a 2
league,
quarterback
there's
league.
chances. The percentage is small, but no one saw that coming.
He'll be all over the place next week, by the way. He'll be all over the place next week when they go up against the Bengals. But it was no one's. So that's the one, right? The Panthers. Raider fan, you got to be sick to your stomach. And I'll give you a little preview. I'm not going to tell you where you're going to be on biggest winners and losers, but you're sure as hell going to be there. Now you may not be number one, or you may be, but you're sure as hell going to be. That can't happen. That can't happen. I honestly believe, and I picked up that defense. I thought that defense was. I mean, they're coming off that huge victory last week, where they go on the road, they go back east, they beat the Ravens. And you figure, all right, they kind of got this thing figured out. They lost opening week to the Chargers. All right, opening week's a weird one. They go back and beat the Ravens. They're coming home and they're playing what we thought was a bad football team with a quarterback that they're just throwing in. They threw in the towel, and then all of a sudden, wow, maybe that's not that bad of a football team. And holy bleep, that old guy that I think everybody forgot was out of the league, or where is he at this point? At least for a week. That looked like a decent football team.
That was worst case scenario, by the way, for Bryce Young. Like, he's never coming back from that. To see them immediately switch and Andy Dalton have one of the best games of his entire career.
Well, and the whole team looked good, JJ. Like the whole freaking
like he's
team.
not like Bryce Young can't come back from that. And Andy Dalton, it's no surprise he's better. He's been in the league forever. He's an NFL quarterback. But to go out there and put on a show like that was the craziest thing that happened yesterday of plenty, because it's that league. It's week to week. It's every Sunday something else happens. They're like, well, didn't see that coming. Well, you should, because that's what we should end the show with on Friday. Yeah. We should be like, everything you think you know, just try the opposite.
That's kind of why we do 3-for-all, right? Go against us. And, well, you would have made money if you went against us. Travis hit us already with a text, and the text line is open for you. It's area code 505-246-0610. That's the Sports Animals phone line and our text line. No one is more unhappy about the Panthers' dominating victory over the Raiders than Bryce Young. The Red Rocket showed it wasn't the team's construction or offensive line that made the Panthers' offense impotent. The Panthers' offense turned around after just making a QB switch, puts Bryce squarely in the biggest bust category. It's from Travis. Look, does it decrease his trade value too?
Well, apparently they turned down 4 offers for Bryce Young last week.
But I didn't hear any details on the offers. Did you? Like, were people just throwing out a 4th-round pick and saying, I'll take them off your hands?
What do you expect to get?
Well, they probably expect to get more.
What they get at Trey Lance from San Francisco, you're not getting more.
Yeah. No, I think it's
losing quarterback that you gave up on, and yet you're going to hold out for more.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't know. I'm not ready to tell you I think Carolina's any good.
What do the Steelers get for Justin Fields?
Yeah. No, look, I'm not arguing with you. I think you're right. I think that's what the value is going to be, and that's what they're going to. It's going to get to a point, and it's funny. This weekend, actually at the UNM game, I was speaking with a young man who played on the offensive line, who works in town now, who played offensive line at Alabama with Bryce Young, and swears by him, and says just he's a great dude. I said, all right, but is he an NFL quarterback? And he said, I think he is. Now, he says, again, like we all said, and again, I'm not going to let one game totally sway my opinion, but it's partially swayed it. I think all you were the same way, like he said, and we all said, well, I mean, they put him in a position to succeed, right? Well, I don't know. I mean, look, Caleb Williams put in a position to succeed. How are they doing? How's the Bears doing? How's Caleb Williams doing? I mean, the rookie thing is hard. I think the position to not succeed is maybe throwing him to the Wolves when he wasn't ready, right? And now you could tell me he may never be ready, and I might not argue with you. Because I said, is he just not very good? He says, no, dude, he's unbelievable. But he was at college. He was at Alabama when his receivers were those guys, and they were running against college DBs and college lines, and he had Alabama, right? He may not be good. Our eyes all tell us he's not very good. But it was interesting, that take from a young man who played with him at Alabama. But to see the unbelievable turn by putting in Andy Dalton is I'm not arguing with you, man. It's a bad look for Bryce Young.
And he's never going to – it's going to be really hard for him to eventually find a situation that works out because of the hype. And you're number one overall pick. You don't get off to a good start. And it's going to be an anchor that weighs you down because you're going to go to places where you're going to bounce around and you're not going to be the guy. You're going to have to wait your opportunity. And if you're Bryce Young, you have to say, hey, there's guys in this league that took the hit early, were able to take a step, bounce back. Does he have the talent to play as an NFL starter and win consistently? I don't know if we're going to see that, but can he be a quarterback in this league? Be a backup somewhere, which will be incredibly disappointing when you have that number one pick tied to your name? Yes. But it's going to take time to get there, and it's probably not going to happen in Carolina. But if Carolina is not going to get rid of you yet, we're not going to find out for a long time.
Yeah. All right, we got so much to do. I mean, so much to do at 505-246-0610. Bronco Mendenhall's due to be with us coming up at 9 o'clock this morning, coming off of the Lobos 38-21 loss on Saturday at University Stadium to Fresno State. Next up, the rivalry of enchantment. Here come the Aggies, or you're going down to see the Aggies, or here come the Lobos, however you want to look at it, wherever you are right now. That's this weekend, so we'll do that coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. We got a lot of games to go through. I mean, the Eagles and Saints was just, I mean, what a bonkers mess. The Chiefs and Falcons last night was crazy. The Rams coming back on the Niners. The Vikings are the quiet. Well, I mean, who's a quieter 3-0? The Vikings or the Steelers? Who do you think are, I mean, who's getting less respect?
Seahawks.
Fair enough. I'm not arguing with you there. We'll do all that at 505-246-0610. Hey, property crime's real. You know that. You hear about it every single day. What are you going to do about it? And the suggestion is IPS, International Protective Service. I trust IPS. I suggest you do as well. IPS is private, affordable security. You see them all around town. You see them in Santa Fe. You see them in the neighborhoods. You see them at the retail stores. Why? Because they make a difference. They keep the bad guys away. I've trusted IPS to watch my home for a lot of years. When I travel, they come by multiple times a day. They'll pick up newspapers, and they'll pick up packages that are left on the porch, roll garbage cans in from the curb and back on garbage day. They'll pick up mail, whatever it is you need them to do. And they install alarms, camera systems. They got a state-of-the-art facility to monitor those cameras 24/7. It all raises the level of security around your home or business. So the question is, who's watching your home when you're not there? And hopefully it's the good guys, because a quick response to alarms, standing guards at your business, it's what IPS does, and you'll sleep better at night. The number's 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. They're online at IPSglobal.com. International Protective Service, making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavis, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
College day was crazy too. It looked like Diego Pavia and Purdue they did have Missouri, who's now ranked 5th in the country, on the ropes. He's got that team playing completely differently. Michigan 27, USC 24. I thought all 4 games Friday night were great. Illinois and Nebraska. Wazoo going double overtime to beat San Jose State. What was the other one? What was the other one on Friday night? They were all right down to the number.
Syracuse?
Oh, Syracuse-Stanford, yeah. And then you got the Hail Mary from Colorado in the rain, and they come back and beat Baylor in overtime. I mean, you had it was a weekend, man. What's up? 505-246-0610. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. All right, Cowboy fan, it's your turn. Holy bleep. There's part of me that wants to say, hey, good job, good effort, you fought back. But, I mean, no, because no. Like, that was a desperate team that came in. And it almost felt like the easiest bet on the board to me was Ravens going in there because they had to win. I guess so did Dallas. But to get down like you got down, you got the onside kick, you came back. Good fight, good effort, but why are you down like that? And everything that was said about this defense after week one, and who'd they beat in week one? They beat
Cleveland,
who, by the way, yeah. Dak's numbers were great. If you got him in fantasy, you got 379 yards, 2 touchdowns. He didn't throw anything away. I think Rico Dowdle is taking over that backfield. I don't know that means very much. I think. I love that he threw to Jake Ferguson 11 times because I think that tight end in that offense should be a big weapon. But, how do you get down? You needed 19 points in the fourth quarter to make it tight. You were down 28-6 going into the fourth quarter. It looked uninspired to me. To me, they were outclassed by Baltimore, who was a desperate 0-2 team. I don't know what you thought.
Baltimore at 0-2, I still believe they're a good football team.
Yep.
I don't think the Cowboys are a good football team.
Yep.
They're going to have flashes of moments offensively. They don't have a run game. Rico Dowdle can carry as much as you want. He's not making a difference. They're too small of a football team on both sides.
I agree.
They're too small. Look at what Derrick Henry did in that contest. Lamar Jackson as well in the run game late, closing it out. And it was empty yards and empty points. It came in the fourth quarter. Now that was kind of the Ravens' MO, which they got to get it figured out. They blew a 10-point lead last week to the Raiders, and they just somehow, some way start coasting in the fourth quarter, which is crazy to me for that team. But the Cowboys' defense isn't changing. They gave up 190 rushing yards last 2 weeks ago, 274 yesterday, and that's not changing. You can talk about scheme, this, all that you want. Michael Parsons going to be up there saying, everyone needs to stop playing hero ball. Well, guess what, Mike? You're not putting on 50 pounds. Your defensive tackles aren't getting bigger. That's not changing.
You listen to the post game afterwards, and everybody's frustrated, and they should be frustrated. And you get the Giants, Steelers, Lions, Niners now, and I don't know who anybody is, to be honest with you. I thought the Giants. Just because the Giants went into Cleveland doesn't mean they're very good. Steelers are 3-0. You don't believe in them. I know you don't. Lions are beatable. Niners are beat to hell. But it can't be this way, man. It can't be this way. Your best player can't be your kicker. By the way, he's pretty amazing.
65 yards.
Effortless. Effortless. So you put on here, and this is really good stuff. Cowboys defense has allowed 190 and 274 rushing yards the past 2 weeks. And more. This is the most amazing part, and this is to your point on they're just not big enough up front. More than 220 of those yards have come before contact. Past 2 games, opposing quarterbacks have eight incomplete passes against the Cowboys. How can that even be? A quarterback has 8 incomplete passes in a half. Lamar went 12 of 15. Lamar ran the ball for 87 yards, threw for 182 and a touchdown. Dak Prescott has almost as many yards in the fourth quarter as he had in the first 3. This, you know what that looked like last night or yesterday to me? It was very reminiscent of when the Packers came in and ran them out of the playoff game, where they just got down early and, they made a big comeback late to make it look, much more respectable score-wise in this one than the playoff game. But why? And I know everybody's going to point to McCarthy, and I guess that's fair. But JJ, again, I'm going to go back to what you said, and I think you're right. And this team, and who's your general manager? Oh, yeah, that's right. They're not constructed right. They're not big enough. They didn't go out and address running back. They lost Tony Pollard and brought in Ezekiel Elliott. Jerry said they couldn't afford to go out and get Derrick Henry. Okay. All right. They're not very good, man. Now, look, they may win next week, and you'll feel good about beating the Giants, and all right. I don't think they're a playoff team.
They have so much to do defensively that I don't see that changing at any point this season. I don't see how they stopped on. I think Devin Singletary set up that good game with what he did yesterday against the Browns. And yeah, you paid your quarterback, you paid your wide receiver.
Yep.
It's not helping you right now.
Yeah. All right, a little injury news for you as you go forward. Vikings are 3-0. The Minnesota Football Vikings are 3-0. Sam Darnold has been, I mean, I don't know, man. This is one of those crazy ones where you're like, Sam Darnold, they went out and drafted a quarterback, and they're going to sit behind Sam Darnold. And we sat here and said, why Sam Darnold? Why does he keep bouncing around? Gosh, he must be a really good locker room guy. He must be teams just keep liking him, keep bringing him in, keep giving him a contract, keep giving him a job. And then the Vikings decided, all right, well, you're our guy. And I think they were going to go with him. Did they make it official before J.J. McCarthy got hurt? Was he officially the guy? Or was that still a competition when McCarthy got hurt?
They were pretty much running Sam Darnold as the one. There wasn't the we're starting Sam regardless talk, but he was the leader in the clubhouse. 17
for 28, 181 yards, 4 touchdowns. Viking blitzed C.J. Stroud all night or all day. So Sam Darnold's going to undergo an MRI. He was sidelined for a single play. He got wrapped up a little bit. This is an interesting one to me because I got to be honest with you. They're the most surprising 3-0. The Steelers are surprising. The Seahawks not as much to me, although somewhat. This is the most surprising 3-0.
They beat the 49ers and Texans.
Right?
That's victories that absolutely what they did to both those teams at home. Brian Flores has a defense that matters. That Brock Purdy was discussing it last week about how the looks he was impressed with. They're giving him some trouble. And then you look at the Texans and C.J. Stroud, season low, 7 points. They couldn't run the football at all. I know Joe Mixon was out, but only 11 carries, 26 yards for Houston. Stroud blitzed on 16 of his 37 dropbacks. So they're bringing pressure. They're affecting good quarterbacks, affecting offenses. Absolutely, the Vikings are a team that believe what you see versus who they've done it.
Assuming Sam Darnold's still there. They got to go to, who is it, Nick Mullins next up, I think?
Of course, that's any of these teams, man.
I love their next three.
There's only one Andy Dalton in the league.
No, he was Joe Flacco last year, and he was, I mean, there's a reason veteran quarterbacks are kept around. I mean, there just is. They're like, literally, there's a reason that Andy Dalton come in and win you a few games, that Joe Flacco can get you the playoffs, right? There's a reason these guys are kept around and make a bunch of money late in their careers. Now, Vikings get Packers on the road, the Jets, the Lions, and the Rams next. So we'll see. When we come back, we talk about the Rams. Can we ram it? I mean, I don't know. Do we still get to do it? It's been so long, I forgot if we even do it.
Try to find the music for it.
It's been so long. Dude, that was a big win. And it was a nice win. And it was just to beat those guys. You know what I mean? And it might have saved the season. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This message is brought to you by the Albuquerque.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView.
All right, a little remiss, I guess, by not giving James Madison the love when we're going through the crazy college stuff. The first window, it was like 25-13 or something in the first quarter, and I texted Stigler, who's a James Madison alum, and he says they may score 100 and only win by 30. And they ended up winning 70-50. James Madison goes to Chapel Hill and beats the ACC out of North Carolina. 70-50. And I didn't know this. They beat Gardner-Webb 13-6 the week before. That Gardner-Webb defense is just insane. I understand. How about that one, though?
Crazy.
A Sun Belt team going into an ACC house and putting up 70?
Man, who knew that North Carolina, your starting quarterback gets hurt to open the season, and it just destroys your entire team?
They scored 50. Is starting quarterback the reason that they gave up 70 points?
No, it was being sarcastic.
No, I've heard this.
It's
well,
just like
the quarterback's down. Yeah, but they still scored.
Haven't been the same since.
If you say 50, you tell any coach in America, hey, you're going to score 50 today. You can take that right now before the game starts. You damn right.
However,
can he give up 70? Like what? I'm playing James Madison. All right, they scored 13 against Gardner-Webb. Yeah, it's bonkers, man. college football is bonkers. That SC game was fun against Michigan. The comeback, I thought it was over too. I thought SC had him. That was a big win for Michigan, man.
A little flash of Big Ten football.
Yeah.
Bring a big boy pants to Ann Arbor.
I thought SC had him, didn't you? Yeah. I mean, second half, SC dominated them. There was no Michigan offense. Alex Orji can't move the ball. They got a pick six. My brother texted me. He says, Michigan's lucky they got the pick six. Otherwise, this thing would be over. I'm like, I don't know, man. They're lucky that the big man wearing 78 doesn't know how to hold on to a football.
Yep. Had that turnover that USC got right back.
Yeah,
but then
that was
what mattered, they just blitzed right through them on the ground late in the fourth quarter.
That ground game was tough for Michigan. Really big stuff. All right, 505-246-0610. I'm not going to give you my biggest winners and losers yet. We'll do that at 9:30. But I think I'm going to have the Rams in there. I think that was season saving. And when Moody missed that field goal, and then Ronnie Bell drops a pass, I mean, the Rams got some breaks. But you know what? I thought, and you tell me if this is a little too hyperbolic. You got a quarterback in Matthew Stafford. And I'm not taking anything away from Brock Purdy, because I thought he found guys. He made a start at Jawan Jennings yesterday. But Stafford's without Cooper Kupp and without Puka Nacua, just like Brock Purdy's without Kittle and Debo. And offensive lines beat to hell. But the way he found dudes, and he only completed 16 balls. But Tutu Atwell made some big plays. They ran the ball, and they didn't put up big numbers. I thought they did when they needed to. And then the defense, that was just a have-to-have win for the Rams. It felt like a season saver.
Go to 0-3, dude.
Yeah, it felt like a season saver. Yeah.
Yes, it's a must-win game because even in the 17-game season, we don't have a lot of those stats yet.
Yeah.
Because it was 0-2 all those years, going 0-3. Every team that's 0-2, it's a have-to-have game at that point because that's too much ground over.
And that was Baltimore. 505-246-0610. You can get in that way. 505-246-0610. That is both the Sports Animals phone line. It is also our text line. Bronco Mendenhall set to be with us this morning, 9 o'clock. We'll talk about the Lobo game on this Saturday where they played Fresno State and headed down to Las Cruces this weekend to take on the Aggies in the rivalry of enchantment. Art, you want to talk about that Lobo game? 17 penalties. Good morning, Art. How you living?
I'm living, Jeff. How are you, my friend?
Life's good. What's going on?
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about, because I went to the game, and I was hopeful when they did their first stance of defense. It kind of looked like to do what they were doing. And I'm kind of frustrated at INL in the sense that I see players out there. Players have to make plays. I also have a friend that has a son that plays on that team. And I didn't. It looked like the first game of the season. Both sides of the ball a little bit. I don't know what's going on, but I don't care about INL. If you can't be a player and make plays, then you should be on the field. And these coaches have to do a better job. I know players have to make plays, but they have to do a better job and give other people opportunity. Screw INL.
Or NIL.
If you're not producing, you shouldn't be on the field. And I pray that NIL can get it squared away, because nobody wants UNM in their conference right now. And this is almost like preseason for them trying to showcase themselves, saying, "Hey, we could possibly be a good fit." Don't just throw us to the side. But I'm listening, Jeff. Thank you.
I appreciate you, Art. I know that's a big concern about for a Lobo fan. I heard this a lot out at the tailgates. Dennis Dodd saying Utah State's going to get into the pack and we're not, and why not us, and where are we going to end up, and is our league going to even exist, and we got to win in football, and that feel like this is a showcase. you're 0-4. There's no running from 0-4. Okay, there just isn't. I do think it gets better over the next bunch of weeks. Fresno State is a good team. They're kind of the class, one of the three classes of your league. Them, Boise State, and UNLV. I think San Jose State's going to beat somebody. One of them. I do. I think San Jose State's going to beat somebody. Because San Jose State, damn near, and probably you can make an argument, should have beat Washington State on Friday night. But what Art is saying is not something that I've not heard. And JJ Lobo fan, I think some of them see some improvement, but they see 0-4. And they see the urgency of the 0-4. They see the urgency of what's going on right now. They see the urgency of realignment. They see all the talk, and they see 0-4. Well, Wyoming's 0-4. Yeah, and Wyoming's not being talked about anywhere either. You know? Well, what about Air Force? They're not very good. Look, man, there's Air Force has a track record of success over the last 2 decades that they can lean on, right? San Diego State's got a track record and they're in. And I'm going to tell you what bothered people that I've spoke to the most, and I don't know, your circles. The 17 penalties for 128 yards. And what we heard last year, they're undisciplined. They're not very, this coach has to get them disciplined. It's on the coach. It's on the coach. And that was a pretty constant beat of the drum, right? That was a pretty constant mantra. 17 penalties, JJ, for crying out loud. That's a problem.
And they had 16 penalties
the week before
at Auburn.
Yeah.
And they're penalties that hurt. It's not just, there's an offside, there's the false start. You go right to the second quarter. It's 3rd and 18. They get the stop. They keep it in front, force Fresno State into a 4th down, however, offside on the play. And then it's 3rd and 13, and Freeman has a 15-yard reception. And then that ultimately results in a touchdown drive, 11 plays, 75 yards. Makes it 15-3 at that point in time. So you have a chance to get them off the field, either force a really long field goal in no man's land, or even force Fresno State to pooch it. It's 8-3 game. Nope. Offside. Give up a 15-yard play and score a touchdown.
Yeah, it's and certainly we'll ask Bronco about it because it's got to just be killing him. At some point when you're looking through this whole thing and you're the tape. I mean, I'm going to guess Sunday was a uncomfortable video session, right?
And the reality is they're not good. Devin Dampier's a really good player, and there's a lot of hype. The rest of that team's not good. But the schedule is favorable. But when you're 0-4, you have people watching the frustration with the penalties. Like, they could win. They have a chance to win 7 of their next 8 games. A legitimate chance.
All right.
But when you have slow start, what happened in the second half against Montana State, you finally get people back out to the stadium. They're disappointed in the overall performance. They're not going to want to, are they going to believe that? Because that's who the Lobos are. They're more this portion of their schedule than the last 3 games.
I thought the atmosphere was pretty good around the stadium. I thought the crowd, look, it wasn't Michigan. It was, I understand, wasn't Alabama, wasn't that. But I thought it was, honestly, it was better than I thought it would be. What did they announce?
It was over 18,000.
All right. I thought that, the tailgate was fun. I don't think they're a horrible football team. Jeff, they're 0-4. I don't think they're horrible. I see glimpses, and maybe it's because the quarterback play erases some of it. Defensively, yeah, I'm concerned. Now, they didn't give up a zillion yards. In fact, they outgained Fresno State. Yeah, but they lost 38-21. Yeah, I know.
That's because it was short fields.
Yeah, that's right.
Fumbled on
100%.
Forced 3 and out, and then you fumble on your first possession.
Yeah.
Yep. Turnover on downs, your own territory because you're behind in the game. Have to go for it on your own 12-yard line.
Yep. Well, that's right. We'll talk with Bronco Mendenhall coming up, the head coach of Lobo football at 9 o'clock. What did he see in regards to the penalties? And, what about moving forward? Here come, with the rivalry. They're playing a defense, or you'll play an offense this week that's really struggling. New Mexico State had 152 yards of total offense. They're on their third quarterback. They're really struggling. So we'll talk to him and see what he got out of that tape. That's going to be at 9 o'clock this morning. 505-246-0610. If you were out there, want your thoughts, you can get in on the college football. Cowboy fan, you got to get in today. You don't got to get in today, but where are you? Because to get down like that, you're 1-2. And you can say, yeah, we lost to a really good team, and I think you did. But holy smoke, Bronco fan, how'd that feel? Looked like you had a quarterback for a day. So we'll get into all that big NFL weekend. Seattle over Miami. Miami's in trouble. They're probably not a playoff team right now, too. Hey, searching for the ideal place to hold your event, the ideal venue. Well, I got it for you. It's right in the heart of downtown Albuquerque. The Albuquerque Convention Center with diverse spaces. They will accommodate anything imaginable, from intimate meetings and gatherings to grand expos and conferences. They've got the staff, the service, the food and beverage options that will go above and beyond and make your dream event a reality. It's about that time. You're thinking about holiday parties. We're at the back end of September. Everything's booking up. If you got a big party, a small party, a gala, an event, they will take care of you because they have 600,000 square feet of beautiful, diverse meeting space and a menu that will make sure you get whatever you want, a staff that goes above and beyond. We've hosted events there every year at the Isleta New Mexico Bowl because they take care of our guests. We keep going back. I've been to events there. I know you have as well, so you understand. They got a parking garage adjacent to the facility, so it's easy in, easy out. Make your event the one everybody wants to be at. Be at the center of it all at the Albuquerque Convention Center. Visit them online at albuquerquecc.com or call 505-768-4575. That's area code 505-768-4575.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
For doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Industries is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Sports Animal.
All right, just another hit on the concern Art, the previous caller, had on New Mexico. It's hard to find, but I think I found it. Penalties per game. And this is at team rankings in college football. Penalties per game in college football in the 2024 season. And out of 134 FBS teams, New Mexico is dead last. 13.7 penalties per game. They had 17 on Saturday, and would you tell me 16 the week before, right? It doesn't tell me how many yards, penalty yards per game, but 13.7 is dead last. Hawaii is next at 12, so they're 1.7 clear of that. The worst three right now are San Diego State, Hawaii, and New Mexico, all in the Mountain West. But San Diego State 11.5. That's, you're committing more than 2 penalties per game. I mean, JJ, that's got to change, doesn't it? That's a big number.
Yeah, you look right now. 3 of the bottom 4 are Mountain West teams in San Diego State, Nevada, and New Mexico. And total penalties to this point in the season. That's one that the false starts, the offsides, those are controllable. That should not be dictated by the opponent. Yes, it's loud atmospheres, in Auburn, but there's things that coaches will look at and say, if we can't control something, it's this. Now there was a lot. You had, I think, one drive there in the second half where it was like 3 or 4 penalties, just defensive holdings, defensive pass interference, things along those lines. And all that goes hand in hand. If you're not able to get enough pressure, these quarterbacks are so comfortable against this team. But now the schedule changes. This is the part of the schedule where this is who the Lobos are. These are their like opponents. Are they still committing 15, 16 penalties per game in this contest? Are they still getting gashed? They weren't gashed against Fresno State just because they had so many short fields in that game.
I did find penalty yards per game. They're not last. They're third to last. So 101.7 penalty yards per game. Hawaii is worse at 109.5 and Ole Miss at 109.7. I mean, but so you're 132nd and 134th. I just, before, you could tell me Ole Miss is winning. But, I mean, they got talent, right? They just got different talent. The teams that are down here at the bottom, Hawaii's not winning, San Diego State's not winning, Washington, TCU, SMU. It's not a tell-all stat, but it's a tell-something stat, isn't it? And yeah, we'll talk to Bronco about that because I know that's a big concern and I understand it. This says this is from Lobo Hobo. It's nervous Lobo fans. There were nervous Lobo fans leaving University Stadium Saturday night after watching another ugly performance by Coach Jim Freese's team, where Auburn's quarterback that looked like an All-America candidate against you was giving away the rock like it was Christmas. Look, what did Auburn do this week? I didn't even see.
They lost
to
Arkansas. Benched their quarterback in the first half. Went back to Peyton Thorne.
Freshman? Did they really?
Yeah, that's the thing. This is who we're going to find out who the Lobos are now. Because New Mexico State, their theme this week is say this is the offense, get some confidence game.
Yeah.
If you're Lobos, you're saying if the defense doesn't make plays in this game, they will never make plays.
All right, 505-246-0610. Lobo fan, let's go. Want to hear from you? We'll hear from your head coach, Bronco Mendenhall, coming up at 9 o'clock. Cowboy fan, tough one, 28-25. Bronco fan, you're up. Looks like you had a quarterback for a day. Raider fan, what the hell was that? I'll give you my biggest winners and losers of the weekend at 9:30. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Glad you're with us on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThread.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
For doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico
For 5 years running.
It's the OD and the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Now. What up? Merry Monday. What a weekend, huh? Good football weekend, bad one. How was it? Depends how your fantasy team did, your alma mater did, pro team did. I know. Homecoming out of University City. We spent some time with Quincy Black. It was good to see him. Did you see him at all this weekend? Run around, homecoming? They retired, or they didn't retire. They put Robin Cole into the Hall of Honor at UNM. Great to see Robin back. Good at UNM. And then you had your Sunday. Let me give you phone numbers to be part of the show because it's there's a lot to talk about. I know you got a lot to talk about. 505-246-0610. 505-246-0610. That's the Sports Animals phone line and our text line. Emails are coming in this morning, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. Cowboys get beat at home 28-25 by the Ravens. The Broncos win on the road 26-7 in Tampa Bay. Maybe the biggest stunner of the weekend if it wasn't for the Panthers winning at the Raiders. Bo Nix was good yesterday. And the Cardinals got beat at home, 20-13. I thought that was a good win for the Lions. That's a runner-up for one of my biggest winners of the weekend was the Lions.
Got a little bit lucky, but you got to have luck.
Well, I mean, I think everybody gets a little lucky a bit, but bouncing back from
the fact that the referees took a pick six off the board.
It was horrible. Okay, there were some horrible calls. The non-call last night. Like, well, you call pass interference on everything in that damn league. And then in the Chiefs-Falcons game, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's why the Falcons lost. Because the Falcons had a lot more chances after that. Although I could have used that Bijan touchdown that would have set them up at the 1-yard line for that.
It's rigged, Jeff.
I hated the play call that Atlanta used on their last play to run super wide with Bijan when you needed a yard. Let's just try to stretch it out and run 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I hated that call. But JJ, I don't understand sometimes. Like I don't want to add more replay. We have enough stoppages in football. But if the intent is to get it right, and that is the intent, correct? Then how do you I understand we can call pass interference on basically every play.
Tried that, didn't work, Jeff.
No, I'm not saying do that. I hated that. No. Let's throw a flag and I want to replay because you didn't call a penalty. Yeah, no, I'm not asking for that. But how do you miss that one?
Seemed pretty obvious. The defender never turned his head around to play the football.
And hugged him.
And went right through the receiver.
Look, and I don't know because then they score and Mahomes gets the ball back. I'm not telling you that cost them the game. And by the way, they had a lot of chances since. But that one was bad. And you're right on the Lions too. You're 100% right.
Decision too, and then it's everyone's screaming go for it in the moment. But you take the points there, make it 22-20. Your defense is playing well, man. The Kansas City, they find ways to win, but they're not a scary football team right now.
No, but see, in I know you don't believe in this as much as I do, but knowing how to win, finding ways to win. I mean, look at the last 3 weeks. They haven't been dominant, but they're 3-0. Do you doubt them any?
Do we doubt them?
Yeah.
You can't doubt them. They're a champion with Patrick Mahomes.
That's
but
my point.
It's also Isaiah Likely, and if his foot was half an inch shorter.
Yeah, if you wore a size 12 instead of a 14. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
A defensive pass interference against Cincinnati that was called on
Which was the right call.
That sets them up.
That was the right call.
A pass interference that wasn't called.
Which was the wrong call. Yeah, no, they could be 1-2. They could be 0-3 for that matter. I mean, they could be, but they're 3-0. But they got the calls. Look, you find ways to win, and then you find ways to lose. The Raiders. Why don't you go ahead and explain 36-22 to me? Why do you explain that Carolina benches their number 1 overall pick quarterback and brings in a 38-year-old guy? I don't want to say journeyman, although he is that now. Like the Andy Dalton hate that I've heard running around. Like I've heard on this radio station that he can't play and he's a 38-year-old ginger who's horrible. And Andy Dalton had a pretty good career at Cincinnati, didn't he? Like he was, you go look, I'm not telling you Hall of Fame career. I'm not telling you that. Andy Dalton was a good, not great NFL quarterback. And obviously at 38 years old, there's a reason teams keep bringing him into their room. And he got more hate this week and more money. Like I did it. I picked up the Raiders defense to play against him in fantasy football. Figuring, old guy, that defense looks good. They're going to throw him out there first start. Andy Dalton, would you tell me was the first guy to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns this year?
Yes.
Who had that on their bingo card? Anybody?
No one.
First quarterback to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns this year will be? Not a chance. Antonio Pierce is the Raiders coach, and he was pissed. He went to the podium and he rocked. He was just pissed. And then he kind of went in on his team. Quote, as the game went on, I think there was definitely some individuals that made business decisions and will make business decisions moving forward as well. We got our ass whooped. I would have booed us too. 3 games in, man, there's a lot of locker rooms. Cowboys, Raiders, that are looking at each other, looking at their coaches, looking sideways because things are starting to get away. If they do what they're supposed to do yesterday, the Raiders, if they go out and do what they're supposed to do yesterday, and they go to 2-1, right? And they're sitting coming off of that. They get the Browns, the Broncos, the Steelers, the Rams coming up. But they didn't. I'm just kidding. That's a disgusting loss. It is.
But that's also who they are.
Yeah.
Like it's teams that you can buy into that are 2-0, teams that you can see, hey, they're better than an 0-2 start. Even if the Raiders were 2-1, they were not going to be anything this year.
Fair enough. But they could have thought they were.
You can think that all you want. No,
that's a big deal. I think it's a big deal as a pro athlete. You got to believe. You do. And I'm not sure they do anymore.
But it's also a week-to-week league. Because who believed Carolina was going to do that?
I mean, outside of their locker room, I got to believe no one. And by the way, they didn't just beat them. They kicked their ass. Like, they went in there and ran the ball for 131 yards. They put up 437 yards of offense on the Raiders. Raiders changed. Who's the Raiders quarterback next week?
They benched Gardner Minshew late in that contest. And, that is one where, as much as you talk about it, it felt like Las Vegas was overlooking Carolina. It's 3 touchdown passes in the first half for Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
They had 5 completions of 20-plus yards in the first half.
That's what I'm saying. I think they looked at the tape. They looked how bad they were. They're changing quarterback. They're going to an old guy who they figured they were going to get at. Oh, well, we got Max Crosby. We got all these studs up front. We're going to get at the quarterback all day. I mean, this literally felt like a game where they looked at the tape and thought they were that much better and cruised through this thing. And Carolina, I don't know what to make of them now. Were they just bad because they had bad quarterback play? Well, then what made their defense play better? Well, maybe it was the Raiders' offense. So I'm not ready to buy into their defense yet. But were they just bad because? I mean, I
think offensively we can say they were bad because of Bryce Young, but it's Overaction Monday. But there's nothing to make of this. Again, Carolina, we discussed it. We figured with Andy Dalton, we're just to be looking at 5 to 6 win team potentially. So they're
Carolina?
Better. Yes.
So you think they're okay? So 5.5 wins as we sit here right now. I mean, I got to go way under. No.
Okay, 4 to 5 wins. Like still, like this team's popping up. It's
all right. Who's the worst team in football? I mean, literally every Monday we change because last week it was the Broncos, it was the Panthers, it was the Giants. And they all won. The Patriots.
I think it's going to be Carolina and New England
when it's all said and done.
4-2-6 wins.
What'd your eyes tell you this week? Where the hell did the Giants come from? Well, they play the Browns. By the way,
my eyes this week told me the Patriots were the worst team, but again,
right.
I'm not going to look at that Panthers and say, "Oh, they're winning 9 games now."
Okay, is the most disgusting team the Browns?
That's who they are, man. This is what you're getting with Deshaun Watson.
But by the way, their defense isn't what we thought they were. I mean, I get it. Deshaun Watson's good. Dude, they scored right the first play of the game. They get a fumble. They score. They hit Amari Cooper.
Did they?
By the way,
Giants did not score a point in the second half of that game.
Okay. You're right. And the Browns scored 8. Daniel Jones didn't put up great numbers, but they did what they could to control it. Singletary busted off some runs. You're right. But they still have, 340 yards of offense? Compared to your...
Malik Neighbors had 7 for 70 with 2 touchdowns in the first half because they didn't know how to cover him in the red zone.
Yeah, how about that guy was there? Yeah. And he sure does like him some Wendell Robinson. Is he a sneaky fantasy play? Or no? I mean, he threw at him 8 times, 7 catches, 61 yards.
Robinson is playable in PPR, I think, for sure.
Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. Area code 505-246-0610. I guess the quietest undefeated team is this team we're going to talk about next because, well, we haven't talked about them, and all they do is win.
Yeah, and we gave you one thing on the Browns, Jeff. We gave you one thing on the Browns.
What's that?
Amari Cooper.
Yeah, you did give
Amari Cooper.
Yeah, you did.
Because guess what? Tonight you have 2 more opportunities to play Underdog Fantasy. A double dose of Monday Night Football. We got Jacksonville at Buffalo, Washington at Cincinnati, and I got you covered. Check out Underdog Fantasy. Use the promo code JJBuck when you sign up, and you're going to play one of the funnest fantasy games that you can play. We had ourselves a good weekend, y'all, because Underdog Fantasy gives you the opportunity to take home a victory. Talking about gimme picks to start your pick-em entry lineups, a profit boost, vulture protection. Underdog Fantasy is such a fun site. It's easy to sign up. Everything is straightforward. When you use the mobile app or go to UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up with that promo code JJBuck, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick-em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. So what is a pick-em entry? You go higher or lower on your favorite player's stats. All kinds of stuff that you can feast on. Touchdowns, passing yards, and more. And with a double dose of Monday Night Football, now is the time to get in the game. You can win up to 1,000 times your money by choosing higher or lower. And I got 2 picks for you tonight. We'll start Jacksonville at Buffalo. The return of Gabe Davis. He's playing for the Jaguars. I'm going higher on 39.5 receiving yards. There's one. The second one, give me Austin Eckler higher on 18.5 receiving yards. Austin Eckler, good start to the season. Daniels using that quick passing game. So there's 2 picks to start your pick-em entry tonight. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code JJBuck to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 and over and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
For doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Everguard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services.
Nope.
And I'm hoping we'll have Bronco Mendenhall, although with our phones down, I'm not sure we will at 9 o'clock. But working on getting that done. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Although, I Rudy, thank you for hosting my child at your alumni tailgate at Michigan. She's like, yeah, Rudy's pretty cool, Dad. And his buddies were cool, and they had a great tailgate. Okay, all right. I guess they're there this weekend, too. We'll try to find them. All right, 505-246-0610. That's the text line. Your emails, Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. Because I kept seeing the line light up. And, yeah, it is what it is. This is, look, I don't know what you thought of teams going in. And I have an idea. But as we look through it right now, the Bills play tonight, they're still undefeated. Your 3-0 teams are the Steelers, the Vikings, the Seahawks, and the Chiefs. You may have picked the Chiefs. I don't think you had the Steelers and the Vikings, and probably not the Seahawks. Seattle did it again. Now, they beat a depleted Miami team. Miami's in trouble, dude. Miami's in big trouble. But Geno Smith went 26 for 34, 289 yards, a touchdown, did throw 2 interceptions. Seattle committed 11 penalties. They went 2 quarters without scoring, and they're down to their third option at right tackle, and they still won 24-3. Now it's going to get tougher, right? It's going to get tougher for them. Here come the Niners and the Rams and the Bills. But Seattle went out, and they got weapons now, man. They got weapons. And Geno's spreading it around, and he's finding his studs. They're doing this without their number 1 running back in Kenneth Walker. In his place, Zach Charbonnet ran for 91 yards. He found DK Metcalf 4 times for 104 yards. Lockett 5 times. Noah Fant. Remember Noah Fant? Do you remember Noah Fant? He used to be your quarterback, or your tight end. And then he went over in the quarterback trade for Russell. Well, he was the throw-in. He was the DJ Moore in that trade. 6 catches for 60 yards for Noah Fant at tight end. Smith and Jigba had 3, so it's spreading around. Have you bought into Seattle?
Yes. What are we buying that?
Well, all right.
Seattle can be a playoff team.
Yes.
Could they potentially win a playoff game? Yes. I think as the season goes on, hopefully they get better up front. They have a lot of offensive line issues, which against better teams, and this is one where Miami is with the quarterback play. They just had no shot in that game.
So here, and this is why the jury's still out a little bit. They're 3-0. They played Bo Nix in Bo Nix's first game. They played the Patriots and Jacoby Brissett and won in overtime. And they played Skylar Thompson and who's next up for Miami?
Tim Boyle.
Tim Boyle. They got to go get Ryan Tannehill now, right? If Skylar Thompson's out, he's got like a...
I don't think Ryan Tannehill's a thing.
Well, who's their thing? Somebody better, because, I mean, they're down to Tim Boyle.
That's why they acquired Huntley.
Oh, yeah, they did get Jason Huntley. Tyler Huntley. Next up, they get Jared Goff. Then they get Daniel Jones. And then they get Brock Purdy. And then they get Kirk Cousins. And then they get Josh Allen. And then they get Matthew Stafford. And then they get Brock Purdy. And then they get Kyler Murray. And then they get Aaron Rodgers. So that's what's coming next. So we'll get a better idea. But you know what? You got to take care of business.
You can't win it early in the season, but you can lose it.
100%.
And they haven't done that.
100%. Put yourself in a position. Beat the teams that, quote, unquote, you're supposed to beat. Right? And I don't even know what that means anymore in this league, who you're supposed to beat and who's supposed to beat who. By the way, dude, all right, 3 for all. We stunk. Both of us went 1-2. I had a winner with the Ravens. I took the Ravens -1 over Dallas. I won. I took the Saints laid 2 against Philadelphia, lost. I took Arizona +3 at home against Detroit and lost. I got written here, or the Rams 6.5, but I didn't take it. So I'm 1-2 this week, 6-6 overall. You were a winner with the Steelers laying 1.5 against the Chargers. You lost on Tampa Bay laying 6.5 at home over Denver. And you lost on Houston laying 2 at Minnesota. They got crushed.
My or was that Tampa Bay one, which it doesn't matter because it didn't go with it.
Yeah. What was the other one you were going to go with?
No, I was immediately after I said it, I'm like, I should flip that, but I was like, no, I said it. So
all right, so you're 1-2, you're 4-8. It's hard, man. It's hard.
No, just come play Underdog Fantasy with me, and the Pick'em entry is doing a lot better on that than I am in the.
Can I play that?
Absolutely.
But
2 Monday night games tonight. Let's go.
Really? Like if I deposit a couple bucks, they give me a bonus deposit?
Absolutely. Just use JJ Buck.
I can do that. So I just got to go on and just, all right, I can do that. Next week, I bet we both play a bunch of dogs. I'll bet we both find the big dogs and play the hell out of them. All right, we're working on the phones. You give me a thumbs up. Was that what was that for? Was that?
I was counting. I wasn't giving you
damn it.
Not 1, not 2.
Yeah. We're working on the phones. And hopefully we can work on the phones to the point where maybe we can talk to Bronco Mendenhall coming up at 9 o'clock. And if not, I better let Frank know that that's not going to happen. But we're working on that. 505-246-0610 is your text line. And your email is Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. When we come back, I want to get into the Detroit game and what Jared Goff did and why I think that one was such a big one on the road. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
This message is brought to you.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part
so that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field. 505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space. And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am an Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network.
All it did was just take a call from the Crusher to fix the phone lines? Is that what it was? It's like, poof, the magic. I don't know, man. Rudy couldn't get the reset. We couldn't get a call out. But I mean, all of a sudden you go 505-246-0610 and boom, the Crusher is on these sports. I mean, you must be the magic elixir. How are you?
You know, I have good technology.
Mm.
What's up? Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Hey, you know, there's some. I get up on Monday mornings, you know, and there's some consistencies. There's death, taxes, and a controversial call in a critical moment for the Chiefs to help win the game.
Yeah.
And I saw that pass interference last night, and I texted all my friends. In what parallel universe is that not abundantly clear pass interference that may have won the game for Atlanta?
But they had chances, man. They had plenty of chances. I just look at it though. You're right though, and like I got a text. They lost on a big toe and a pass interference and a non-pass interference. And there's no argument last week's was the right call, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's just interesting. The sampling size, you start to just wonder, and I don't know. But the NFL's registered as an entertainment entity. So it's entertainment, and I understand, you know, what it is. Hey, I want to pick on the Cowboys real quick a little bit. But before that, is there a more schizophrenic team than the Philadelphia Eagles? Like, how do they blow it the week before? Then they hold the Saints, who completely annihilated the Cowboys, to, 10 points or 13 points? That's such a schizophrenic team. I don't know. The Cowboys, I know that when they play, here's my general take, when they play a capable offensive coordinator with a capable quarterback, that organizationally demonstrates, what they can do, I have no confidence they're going to win the game.
Or should you?
Zero. In their last 8 games, I believe they've lost 5 of their last 8 games, and they've got completely taken apart by good offensive coordinators at 3 of them. They got completely taken apart by the Bills last year. and then they got taken apart in the playoffs. And then the Saints took them apart. And yesterday was a blowout. I know they closed the gap, but they've been blown out 3 or 4 times in their last 8 games. And if it wasn't for a controversial call against the Lions last year, they would have lost 6 of their last 8 games. I just want people to process that information, right? Now, one season's different than the other, but it's kind of a general body of work. But I just think I don't think they've beaten... I think maybe 1 or 2 really good teams the last 3 years. And I think they'll make hay on the Giants and Washington, and I think they play Carolina and start feeling better about themselves. But I just don't have any confidence in that team, But anyway, I thought I'd share those thoughts. It's good data.
That's good.
I'm picking on him, but I'm not picking on him, but I'm just giving you what I see objectively.
That's good, and thanks for breaking through the phone line. Thank you. Maybe he broke the seal on that. 505-246-0610. You can try as well. Looks like Edward broke the seal on the phone line. They haven't beat a good team, and that's been the knock on them. JJ for, a while, right? Them in Miami
with Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, them in Miami. It's like, yeah, you can beat up on the Carolinas and you can beat up on the Giants and the Washingtons. Yeah, you're really good against those teams, and then you play a team that is good and you can't beat them. Then Green Bay came into even Green Bay wasn't supposed to be that team. And they came into their place in the playoffs and beat the crud out of them. It's all fair. The Eagles, that game. So I don't even know who to be mad at that game. And I'm not that I'm looking to be mad at anybody. But we look for the shootout, and I give it to the Eagles defense. But there were so many big moments, so many big decisions by both coaches in that game to go for field goals, to go for it in a 15-12 game. I still looked at it and I thought New Orleans was going to win. And then on 3rd and 16, they go cover one and don't cover the tight end. And I got a tight end rumbling down the sideline for 60 yards to win the game. I mean, he didn't score.
Well, they covered him, but they had 3 players that ran into each other because man-to-man, what do? Crossing route. And 3 Saints players ran into each other in the middle of the field.
Yeah. Look. 3rd and 16, they're without A.J. Brown and with Devontae Smith out. And they still are able to bust a 60-yarder with their tight end? That, for a team that's played really well all year in New Orleans,
that's a
brutal.
A great coverage question. What your philosophy in 3rd and 16, should you just be playing shell coverage and zoning him up at that point in time because you run a man concept and you had 3 dudes collide in midfield?
Yeah. Wouldn't you run a zone?
And that's why Goddard was wide open.
Yeah. Wouldn't you keep everybody in front of you, run a zone, give them 10 yards. Yeah. You can have a nice soft 10 yards, fine.
Blew the game wide open right there, and then Barkley's run. So the over-under was bet up to 49.5.
Yeah,
and it's one of those things in the NFL. Like, you think you know what's going to happen. It's the complete opposite. And with that, we still see some of the warts, as you mentioned, the decision-making for Philadelphia, the fact that New Orleans was going to come back down to earth. I still think that they're a good offense that's explosive. But some of these teams are like, oh, okay, we jumped on the hype train a little bit too much. I was on Derek Carr in that offense. And
I'm going to still be there. I'm going to still be there a little bit. I know they had some offensive line issues yesterday, and I'm not going to give up on them yet. And 2 is more than 1. I saw sample size of 2. Now, granted, one of them was against Carolina, but I'm not going to give up on them yet. The interesting conversation to me is the one that's being held around the Eagles, and Nick Sirianni should be fired. They're 2-1. They beat a Packers team to open up the season in Brazil, and I don't know. The more we watch, that win against the Packers should feel like it was a pretty good win, right?
It's a good win early in the season.
And then they lose the Falcons on a drop ball. Bad. You decide what it is. I mean, Nick Sirianni's taking all the blame, and I get it. I'm still, and I know I'm in the minority on this, and everybody's screaming, run the ball, run the ball. There's no guarantee if you ran the ball, kicked that field goal, and went up by 6, you win that game. There's no guarantee that Kirk Cousins didn't come down the field and beat you. Still, he had time to win. There is a guarantee if Saquon Barkley catches the damn football, you win the game. I still am not with the majority that was the worst call in the history of football. But they lost the game because of that. They lose by a point. And then they go on the road and they knock a team that's been scoring 47 points down to 12, and they win on the road. I think, like, with all that said and done, everybody's calling for Nick Sirianni to be fired. They're 2-1. They've beaten two pretty good teams and lost on a drop pass. I'm not ready to fire the coach nor tell you that team's not very good. To me, they're the class of their division, certainly. And I don't know. You tell me how many better teams there are in the NFC right now.
I'm with you. Sirianni is like Dan Campbell. They're going to take chances. It's easy when a chance doesn't work to say you should have done this. It's the same thing you see Atlanta run the ball on a short yardage situation.
I hated that call, though.
But then, because it didn't work. And then so you go, why don't you run up the middle? And then if they run up the middle,
yeah, why are you running up the gut?
Outside?
I know.
That's what happens.
But
you have Bijan Robinson, you gave him the football. Nick Bolton shot the gap and made a great play.
He made a great play. He did. I just hated it. It just never, yeah. Fair enough. And that every call's a great call if it works, and every call's a crappy call if it doesn't work. I'm well aware of that. I hated that call when it started. But when I look at the Eagles, I was listening coming in and these guys screaming, Sirianni's the worst coach. They're winning in spite of him. And it was the worst call in the history of the game last. I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. Saquon makes that catch. And you're like, whoa, that was a Stones call. What a gutsy call. And then you're throwing to your best players and you're putting the ball in your best players' hands to make a play. And they put the game away and they're 3-0, right?
Yep.
Saquon drops the ball. This guy's taking all the heat, which I get it. He's the head coach. He takes the heat. But I just look at what they've done and I'm like, I don't know. Tell me who's better in the NFC. Like right now, if you're going to say who's the best team, are you going to tell me Green Bay? I'll listen. They're winning with Malik Willis. I'm not sure you got another one to tell me that's better than them. Seattle's 3-0, but are you bought in yet?
They're in the mixer because the talent that they do have. We've seen them go on a postseason run with this quarterback and get to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
They got some work to do without A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith.
And they did it.
In concussion protocol. And the defense can get better. The defense should be better. They have a lot invested in that front seven, and they made the plays yesterday. They kept a Saints team that was explosive, that was pushing the football downfield. They didn't let him complete those passes. They tried. They went to Shaheed multiple times.
Shaheed did nothing yesterday.
He got a big old zero. Yeah. And it's because of the coverage. They were on
nothing.
him.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. All right, are we going to be able, I think we're going to have Bronco Mendenhall, I think, coming up at 9 o'clock. 505-246-0610. That's how to get to us. Hey, you got family coming in for a balloon fiesta, right? You got the kids going around. You're probably taking their friends. Your car probably needs a little work. And I can suggest you go to On the Spot Automotive Detailing because I do, and I love what they do. On the Spot Automotive, you don't go to them. I misspoke. They come to you. On the spot, that means where it works for you, when it works for you, when it's convenient, where it's convenient. On the Spot Automotive Detailing comes out, details your vehicle. This is just cleaning. This is inside, outside, under the hood, around the rims, like so much better than you do. This is what the car dealers do. Like the day you took it off the lot, remember how clean it was, how much fun it was to be in your vehicle? That's what you get at On the Spot Automotive Detailing. They also offer you paint protection film, ceramic coating. They offer lifetime warranties. They have window tinting. They are the best at that. They were voted best in the city. You know why? Because they're best in the city. On the Spot Automotive Detailing. I love them. I know you will as well. Go online. You can book and buy there at otsdetailing.com or just give them a call at area code 505-859-2859. 505-859-2859.
This report is sponsored by
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
and act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
no thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, You shouldn't be driving.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Sports Animal. Text line says Chiefs won by a big toe out of bounds, a last-second field goal, and a non-PI call and fourth down stops. Lucky sons of you-know-what. Go Broncos, believe. Yeah, dude. Look, have they been dominant? No. They find ways to win. Now, is finding a way to win having Isaiah Likely wear a size 14 instead of a size 12? I mean, at some point it's going to come around. It always does, right? Their luck's going to even out. Whether it's next week, the week after, whenever it happens to be. But the bottom line is they put themselves in positions to win. The game against the Bengals, yeah, that penalty, that was the right call. Did they get a beneficiary, or were they the beneficiary of a non-call? Yes, they were. But I look at their schedule, JJ. I mean, where they get beat? They play a Chargers team next week that can't score. Saints will be interesting. I mean, the week after that, the Saints. I don't know what the Niners are going to be in 3 weeks. Raiders, Bucks, Broncos. Then they get the Bills. Then there's the Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, Browns. I mean, where are they getting beat?
They are a good football team because they are adaptive. You saw it last year. Their offense was middle of the pack. So they leaned on their defense. Right now, the offense isn't explosive. Everyone thought, Xavier Worthy going to open things up. Rashee Rice is that dude. Travis Kelce looks old and slow right now. But they still find ways to be in games. And when you're there, you get lucky and you create your own luck.
Yeah. Yeah, you find ways to win. You put yourself in positions and then then it works out. I'm not ready to bury them, and they're 3-0. I don't know why you would. Tell me how good you think Green Bay is, because I think what they're doing with Malik Willis is really impressive. And when they lose their first game and Jordan Love goes down, it's like, holy bleep, here it goes, all of it. Well, then they go out and beat the Colts. They handle the Titans. They got a really interesting one next week with the Vikings, who are undefeated. Like a really, really interesting one next week. But I give Matt LaFleur a ton of credit, their head coach, because he has formed what they do to what they have, if that makes sense to you. And they don't have Jordan Love, and so they're not chucking it all over the yard. Malik Willis threw it 19 yards, but he threw it efficiently. Whatever they're doing to coach him up, 13 for 19, he threw for 202 yards and a touchdown, didn't throw it away. Ran the ball for 73 yards. I don't know where Emmanuel Wilson came from, but he was their leading rusher, not Josh Jacobs. Oh, he came out of Fort Valley, of course. Second season guy out of Fort Valley. Did you have Emmanuel Wilson on your team this week? Did you have him on your underdogs? I love what Matt LaFleur's done. And I get it. They beat the Titans, and the Titans are in trouble.
Yeah, but to beat the Titans with the quarterback the Titans gave up on, no one thought could do anything in this league. And all Matt LaFleur did was design a game plan that maximized the talent that they had available offensively, gave confidence to a quarterback that has the athleticism and skills. You see it when he throws the football, when he takes some attempts downfield. You saw it in the rushing attack from Malik Willis as well yesterday. What Matt LaFleur is doing is proving he is one of the best coaches in the NFL to get that kind of offense out of that team and to execute it when people know you're not going to be checking the football around, and yet you're still effective on the ground.
Let me take you one step further on that. It was right at the end of camp where they went out and got him, right?
Yes.
They went out and made a trade. What did they give up? Like a late pick? They realized Malik Willis was just sitting there in Tennessee. And so they went out and made a trade, kind of a quiet trade, because they had Sean Clifford as their backup, and they realized they needed some help in case Jordan Love went down. And whatever he saw in Malik Willis, he being Sean LaFleur or that coaching staff, whomever it is that convinced him, so far, like ding freaking ding, right? Because they went out and made the trade to get him, and then have made him a guy that's gone 2-0. All right, we're working on it. I believe we might. We're working on technology. Bronco Mendenhall due to be with us next, if our phones will allow it. We're working on that right now. 505-246-0610 is the number to get it on the text line. But we'll talk global football next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal, to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as Red and Green.
For 5 years running, it's the OD and the AM with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Lobo football will be at New Mexico State this weekend. Lobos and Aggies. Rivalry of enchantment. Lobos coming off a loss at home, 38-21 to Fresno State. Aggies coming off a loss on the road, both in conference. Sam Houston beat New Mexico State 31-11. The conversation with Bronco Mendenhall is sponsored by the law offices of Rudy Chavez. For 4 decades, Rudy's been helping New Mexicans through legal issues. And you can call Rudy at 505-242-5500. I apologize. I don't even know what to tell you at this point. We're having real issues with our phone lines, both here and over at News Radio today. And I don't think we're going to be able to get you Bronco today. It sounds like things are down. JJ's working on a backup, like a Google Voice opportunity that DC is trying to help him with, but it looks like that may not happen. But Lobo football outgained Fresno State 485 yards to 345. Devin Dampier had a big day throwing, 338 yards. But the penalties, 17 penalties, and this is a conversation I was really looking forward to having with Bronco today, and I'm not going to be able to get out to the press conference. 17 penalties for 128 yards. And it's a huge issue. And I know that was a big issue last year. It was one of the things that many of you were so upset about last year, about the former coaching staff, and what I kept hearing was lack of discipline. And I think there's a lot of things that go into penalties. Is discipline one of them? Yes. There's a lot of things. But a lot of pre-snap penalties, 16 penalties the week prior at Auburn, 17 penalties this week at home against Fresno State. And Lobos dropped to 0-4, 0-1 in conference. And now the schedule, it gets different. Like you get into league play, you get the Aggies, and then you're going to be in league play. And as you go through the schedule over the next bunch of weeks, New Mexico State, Air Force, Utah State, Colorado State, Wyoming, San Diego State. Nobody's killing it. None of those teams are killing it. New Mexico State is a one-win team, right? They lost to Liberty, and then they lost to Fresno State, and then they lost to Sam Houston. Air Force is 1-2. That's who's after that. Utah State, who showed some impressiveness against Utah but lost, they're 1-3. Colorado State is 2-2. Wyoming is 0-4 like you are. And San Diego State's 1-2. So that's what you got over the next bunch of weeks. If you believe that you're getting better, and many of you do, and look, we have eyes, whatever your eyes tell you. There's promise out there, certainly offensively. Now, can they stop anybody? We'll see. Air Force isn't scoring a lot of points. Wyoming sure as hell isn't. San Diego State is not. So is there some opportunity over the next bunch of weeks? And the answer is yes. Outside of Washington State, nobody left on their schedule has a winning record. Hawaii's 2-2. Colorado State's 2-2. But everybody else, as we sit here today, is either a one or a none-win team. So there's opportunity. And I don't know where Lobo fan is. Like, JJ said this. And I think JJ's right. This is a must-win for New Mexico as far as this season is concerned. What does that mean, Jeff? They're 0-4, must-win, win for what? What does that mean? I think a number of ways for the fan base, for you all, to stay engaged, right? I think that'll be a big deal. And I think also, I look internally in that locker room. When you work your butt off for something, you need a reinforcement. You need a reward. You need every once in a while, you need a carrot. You need to know that what I'm working for makes sense. And that's why I think this is a must-win this weekend. Right? And you can tell me the same thing for New Mexico State. And you might be right. But if they go 0-5, lose to the Aggies, and where are you as a fan? And that's why I look at this and, man, what does it mean must win? The program's building. Broncos not getting fired. You're not making big changes. And the other part of it is where you are as a fan in your psyche with everything that's going on. That's a big deal, right? That's a big deal as I walked out of the building the other day. You're more conversation at the tailgates about realignment, where New Mexico is. And Lobo fan, I was talking to Matt, who texts our show a lot. And he says, Utah State's being mentioned. Why not us? And it's about football. You all know it's about football. You brought in a guy who I think is going to turn football around. But as you continue to lose and you continue to see conference realignment, and whether it's the Pac or the Mountain West or the American, and you start seeing where you are and are not in conversations, I understand the frustration of where you are. And a process of rebuilding, and you're like, well, wait a minute, rebuilding, man. We were I've heard this. We won 4 games last year, and the Utah State game damn near won. We beat this Fresno team last year. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. At the end of last year, there was progress. I think we all saw it. They were going in the right direction. Administration opted to make a different call. They went a different way. And they hit it. Right? But you're 0-4, and it's frustrating. Look, you lost. The Montana State game was a tough one. I think you'd feel different if you won that. Arizona, Auburn, Fresno State, with all due respect, they're better than you right now. They just are. They are. But look at your schedule now, the rest of the way. Outside of Washington State, nobody's got a winning record. You've got opportunities. Now, you better go take care of them. And JJ, you said this a number of times. You think next week's a must-win. I agree with you.
Yeah, they're going at the opened as 10-point favorites.
Yeah, it's a thick number, isn't it? Stigler said 7.5. I thought it would be 4.5 points. That's what I thought it would be.
7 of the next 8 games are coin flip games for the Lobos. These are their like opponents. These are who you should see progress against and have an opportunity against.
Yeah, apologies, man, and we're working on it. I was looking forward to talking to Bronco today. I know you look forward to hearing those on Monday, and I feel like a head coach who, right? The player dropped the ball, but you're the head coach. It's not our fault, but it is our fault. You know what I mean? I totally feel like the head coach. Players make plays, and I'm sorry that we weren't able to bring you the Bronco conversation today. I know you look forward to it on Mondays, and we look forward to having that conversation with you. We're just really having some technical issues both here and at News Radio today. But the conversation with Bronco Mendenhall is sponsored on a weekly basis by the law offices of Rudy Chavez. Personal care and the attention you deserve for your legal issues. Call Rudy at 505-242-5500 today. Bronco will have his press conference today. Maybe we can pull some of that for tomorrow. I don't know if you're able to get out there. I got a meeting that I've got to go to today. But I'm looking forward to what he has to say. Because this is, the first third of the season's over. But this does feel like I don't know, like a turn this week, doesn't it? It's a rivalry week. It's a big game. It's a like opponent. It's look, JJ, and we're going to talk to Tony Sanchez, I hope, tomorrow morning, Tony Sanchez. New Mexico State's struggling right now, offensively. If you're a Lobo defense, I mean, you're giving up chunks and chunks. You've given up, 35, 61, 45, and 38. I think your average went down because you were giving up 47 points per game. But you got to be looking at this one and saying, all right, here's my opportunity to get healthy, right?
Absolutely. The schedule is changed in your favor. You have a New Mexico State team that lost a quarterback due to injury. We're already playing multiple quarterbacks, just struggling to find an identity on that side of the football, and coming off a performance where they went on the road and played a good Sam Houston team at 152 yards total offense. feel like this is your opportunity to get some confidence and be able to make plays against an opponent that isn't better than you are right now.
You know, Lobos are averaging almost 27 points a game offensively, 26.7. The problem is they're giving up 44.75 per game, and therein lies the issue. Now, I look at a New Mexico State team, and they were winner over Southeast Missouri State, but they scored 23, 24, 0, and 11. They're averaging 14 points a game. New Mexico State is 14.5 points a game. Hence, would you just tell me they opened it but a 10-point favorite? 10.5? I mean, that feels like a huge number to me. But, I mean, we'll see.
It's 7 right now.
Is it 7? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Stigler came in and said it was 7.5. All right, 505-246-0610. Again, that's the text line today. And apologies, man. I hate this as much, probably more than you do, because I was really looking forward to that conversation. But you can get in. Emails are coming in. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. I'll get you some of your correspondence when we get back on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal 930. Biggest winners and losers from the NFL weekend.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
For doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
All right, come on in on the text line. And again, apologies on the phones, man. We're working on it. How many times, Sid says, how many times the phone line's been down, Mr. Symbieta? It's time for heads to roll at ABQ Cumulus. Been down a few times, man. Jack says, have you mentioned Lobo football as a touchdown favorite on Jerry Kill Field, Jeffers? How long does Tony the Tiger last? It's from Jack. Yep, 7-point favorite. Look, they're not going to fire Tony. And that's a rebuild, too. Everybody left there. Tough rebuild. They were a 10-win team last year. Yeah, but then everybody left. Right? They're starting from scratch down there, too, right?
Down to Vanderbilt. Playing pretty good football.
Damn near beat Missouri the other day. Jack says, am I crazy, Jeffy? Probably. Lobo football doesn't play the top three teams in the league. Boise State, UNLV, and San Jose. Bottom of the league is putrid. Within MSU, Lobo football can still make a bowl game. That's my point right now on the rest of the schedule. I don't know if it's putrid, but it's not very good. There's three really good teams in this league: Boise State, UNLV, and Fresno State. They do play Fresno. They just did. And I think San Jose State's going to beat some people, don't you?
Yeah, the Spartans going to get something.
Did you watch them Friday night against Washington State?
That was crazy.
Crazy, right? Nick
Nash is unbelievable. The former quarterback turned wide receiver for the Spartans.
Yes. He was... Look, that was one of those... And boy, did they love on the Pac-12 and that with their commissioner there. That was a CW game and their network, and it was crazy. You're like, Jeff, you don't get the CW. I did that night. I found a way to get it. But it was all about the Pac-12 after dark and that whole thing, and the teams that are going to be in there. And look what we did, and yay for us, and pat ourselves on the back, and we broke up the Mountain West and all that. San Jose State went in there, and this was double overtime. Washington State had to score 22 points in the fourth quarter just to send it to overtime. This game was over. Emmett Brown, their new quarterback, where did he come from? Where did they get Emmett Brown? He's a sophomore. Maybe he's their next guy to transfer out of there. I don't know. But he's their quarterback. Threw for 375 yards, and your point on Nick Nash, 16 receptions, 152 yards. San Jose State's going to beat some people. They're 3-1. Their one loss was on the road at Washington State. They get Nevada, Colorado State, Wyoming coming up, and then the big one with Fresno State, Oregon State, Boise State, UNLV. That's when we'll see. The back end of their schedule, they end Fresno State, Oregon State, Boise State, UNLV, Stanford. We'll learn about them. I think they opened everybody's eyes when they went into Air Force and held them 7 points.
Yeah.
But then again, Air Force isn't scoring any points. Mountain West this weekend, your scores. Let me give you the whole thing. Why is it just giving me? So Friday night, San Jose State went up to Pullman, lost to Washington State, double overtime, 54-52. Utah State is 1-3. They went on the road and got beat at Temple. Gave up 28 in the second half and only scored 8. 45-29, Temple's first win of the season. That was an American Athletic Association team. Nevada was a winner. They're 2-3. They beat Eastern Washington out of the Big Sky, 49-16 in Reno. Colorado State went to 2-2. They beat UTEP, who is winless, 27-17. Avery Morrow ran for 156 yards and a couple of touchdowns for the Rams. Wyoming is struggling offensively. They can't score. They lost at North Texas, 44-17. About 250 yards of offense for Wyoming, but they're struggling on both sides of the football. They're 0-4. Boise State was a winner. They beat another Portland State in the Big Sky. I think they are 56-14. Boise State is 2-1, and Hawaii went to 2-2 with a win at home over Northern Iowa. So you get interesting games this week, as now we're starting to get into some league play. Boise State, Washington State's really good. This game is on the blue. If I without looking, what's the spread on Boise State at home against Washington State?
Boise State 4.5 points.
7.5.
7.5 points. Okay.
Wazoo can score, dude. Wazoo's got. I mean,
they're best friends now. So,
well, that's a league game. Wyoming at Air Force. I mean, bet the under, right? 36.5 is a low over under. Yep. That's going to be up in Laramie. That'll be 6 o'clock on Saturday. Lobos will be at New Mexico State. San Diego State in a rematch of the 2019 New Mexico Bowl. San Diego State at Central Michigan. Central Michigan's a 3-point favorite. That total's way too high, 54.5. And then UNLV, that's the game of the week. UNLV Fresno State. That game's in Vegas. And that's actually a really, really, really good one. All right, as you're watching. And then top 25 this week. As you watch, what am I looking for? It's a Fox game. Big Monday. I'm going to go to Big Monday. I'm sorry, Big Noon. Big Noon. What did I say? Big Monday. Big Noon. I'll be at that. Kansas State, Oklahoma State's good. USC is home for Wisconsin. Louisville, Notre Dame. Dude, Notre Dame was struggling with Miami of Ohio. There was a minute they won that game 28-3, but it was like 3-3 or something. Not going to have been 3-3. It was 7-3. I'm like, good thing Notre Dame's not in the MAC.
They play to the level of their competition.
But then they beat the hell out of Purdue the week before.
Yeah.
They're
like, oh, this is a power conference team.
What do you make of Stanford? They're going to Clemson. So they were at Syracuse this week. Now they got to go to Clemson this week. Welcome to the ACC.
Give me the Tigers. The Tigers have bounced back in a big way.
How about after their
Georgia?
Well,
Georgia was the reason Clemson looked that way, not Clemson.
Georgia, Alabama, 5:30 our time. Saturday night, ABC, Georgia, Alabama, 2 versus 4. There you go. That'll be something for you. Illinois, Penn State's going to be good. Not sure I buy into Penn State yet. And Oregon will be at UCLA in a Big Ten matchup. It's crazy. All right, 505-246-0610. Cowboy fan, really, really interested in where you are today as far as getting beat by Baltimore at home. Giants, okay, can we talk about this one? We've just not been here. Giants fumbled the opening kickoff. They allow that Amari Cooper touchdown on the first play of scrimmage. They go in at halftime with a 21-7 lead. Malik Neighbors, first player in NFL history with 20 receptions and 3 receiving touchdowns the first 3 games, by the way. This one's more about Cleveland to me. I don't know what they're saying in the building. I got to believe they're whispering it. How do they get out of this situation? Because they should not be this bad.
Not running the football. Not explosive enough. You know, Mark Cooper finally was there, but when he needed to make plays in the second half, not enough.
2 disgusting teams next week, by the way. They play the Raiders. I don't want to put it all, but I'm going to. I can't. Their defense isn't as good as they should be. Is that fair? As good as they should be? I know you still really like their defense, and their defense is nice. And
all right, you gave up 21 points. You're at home. You hold the Giants scoreless in the second half.
Yeah.
Give your team an opportunity, and your team doesn't take advantage.
340 yards of offense. Devin Singletary got tough yards when he needed to keep the ball. Look, you got to take the ball away from Daniel Jones. Everybody else does.
Yeah, it was on the defense in the first half.
Yeah.
Because Malik Neighbors went 7 for 70 with 2 touchdowns in the first half.
It's pretty crazy, right? So you blame the offense more than the defense, because if you give up 21 points, you should win an NFL game?
You should be able to get back in that game.
Against the Giants? Yeah. Yeah. Deshaun Watson, 21 of 37, 196, 2 touchdowns. It's just not enough. Now, did they not have enough weapons? They went out and got Jerry Jeudy. He's got Amari Cooper. I understand Nick Chubb is out, but, I mean, Jerome Ford has been good. They didn't run Foreman this week at all. They brought Jameis in to carry the football.
Yeah, he's like their short yardage quarterback.
What are we doing?
It's just the vibe, and it feels like it just filters down from Deshaun Watson.
Seriously, it feels like you're going to be cursed until you move on. Doesn't it? It was dirty from the beginning. And I say dirty. Why, Jeff? I mean, because the whole aura around him, nobody wanted that dude. You overpaid on the trade value and the contract to a guy who, by every account, isn't a good guy. You covered him because you gave him $1 million the first year because, well, here's $230 guaranteed, but the first year only $1 million. Shh, because we know you're going to get fined. So when they take 11/17 of your money, it'll only be out of $1 million, not out of $50 million. You'll get all your money. They took care of and coddled a guy that, by every account, isn't a very good dude. And then, by the way, he hasn't been a good quarterback. It just feels like karma, doesn't it?
Has some of that going.
Yeah. When we come back, I'll give you my biggest winners and losers of the weekend. I'm kind of curious what you think out of the NFL weekend. A lot of candidates this week. 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
Dirty Boys present Philip.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM.
I got winners and losers, and kind of curious where you are with this. It's a wild weekend. It's just a wild week in the NFL. Like I got that text. I mean, this league is nuts. What was the craziest thing you saw this weekend? Was it the Hail Mary in the Colorado game? Was it? I mean, that's up there, right? Michigan's comeback.
Everything in that Colorado Baylor game, the Hail Mary. Then you go to overtime, and of course, it's Travis Hunter, the stud two-way player for Colorado that forces the fumble at the goal line, seals the victory for CU.
I mean, that was how about James Madison putting 70 up on North Carolina in Chapel Hill? It's pretty crazy. Now, there's a lot of crazy stuff. All right, you want me to start with winners or losers in the NFL? I'll give you my biggest winners. All right. 3 biggest winners in the National Football League this weekend. Honorable mention goes to the Denver Broncos, the Green Bay Packers, and the Detroit Lions. Number 3 biggest winner of the weekend. Pittsburgh Steelers. That they keep winning. That they are 3-0. It was I don't know if this was a clash of unbeatens, but it was a game of 2 unbeatens. And the fact that with their quote-unquote backup quarterback, they continue to win. And I look at the rest of their division right now, and you say, Cincinnati's in trouble, Cleveland's in trouble, Baltimore's 1-2. These games count. This is a cushion. Like the games in September count just like the games in December. And for them to clamp down that running game of the Chargers, to continue to do what they're doing defensively and continue to find a way. The Steelers are my number 3 biggest winner of the weekend. Number 2 biggest winner of the weekend was the Rams. They saved their season. And I don't have San Francisco on my biggest losers because I still think they're going to be good enough, although they get honorable mention, because the way they like they said, you've got to take away someone's hope. But the Rams were given hope. And with their offensive line the way it is, without their best receivers, they found a way. And against a team that beats them all the time. The Niners beat the Rams all the time. The Rams to come back and win the game the way they did and save their season and give themselves a little hope, the Rams are number 2. And number 1 for me is Baltimore. They had to win that game. For them to go 0-3, after the way they lost the first 2, they likely out of bounds, and then they lose by blowing a big lead. Now, they damn near blew a big lead. They go on the road to what people think is a good team and win in Dallas. And again, that might have been another, at least for now, season-saving victory. Baltimore is my number 1 winner of the weekend. So it was 1, 2, 3, Baltimore, Rams, and Pittsburgh. You all right with those?
I'm all right. And you mentioned the Steelers with their backup quarterback. No, that's QB1. That's going to be QB1.
I think so, too.
Moving forward, Justin Fields is playing confident, solid football, saw some explosiveness, hit Calvin Austin, who had a big yak touchdown late in that game. But he's using his legs as an addition, not the first thing. And this is exactly what the Steelers were hoping for, just a consistent, solid presence at the quarterback position. And I don't know if they thought it was going to be Justin Fields, but he's been that dude.
Yeah. I think that's right. All right, here's my 3 losers. San Francisco is my honorable mention on this. But number 3 is Dallas. Because they're 1-2, because of the way they got pounded again. This is so super reminiscent to me of the way they lost to Green Bay in the playoffs. Got down early, had to go frantic at the end to try to get back into it and didn't have a chance. And you can't come out lethargic. They can't run the football. They can't stop the run. Their defense is not nearly what we thought it was. You went out and paid a quarterback, and that's fine. You went out and paid a receiver, that's fine. But You're not big up front. You're 1-2. Yeah, you got winnable games coming up, but I'm not ready to give you anything. Okay, you'll beat the Giants because, well, you always beat the Giants. But you can't beat a team that you think is good. Browns aren't. Saints seem to be, you lost. The Ravens seem to be, you lost. I just, a huge loss at home because of the way they got beat. I got them as number 3. JJ, I wanted to make them this team number 1, but there's a bigger one. Browns are number 2 to me. The Brown, how you let the Giants were horrible. The Giants were doing nothing coming in. The Giants scored 6 points against the Vikings, 16 or 18 against the Commanders. They had no offense. They still don't. And you let them get their first win in your place. After getting them down, you should have stepped on their neck in the first quarter. First play, you get a turnover, you score a touchdown, step on their neck, and then they come back. The Giants. The Browns are 1-2. Their one win was against a struggling Jaguars team where they scored 18 points. They're bad offensively. They can't get out of their own way. Number 2 is the Browns, and number 1's the Raiders, man. Number 1 is the Raiders. That's the worst loss of the weekend. The biggest loser of the weekend is the Raiders. They thought they were going to beat somebody. They're coming off of a win on the road where they beat Baltimore. They went back east and beat the big, bad Ravens. And now all they got to do, now they're going to go on a roll. Now they're coming in, and here come the Panthers, the worst team in football. And it was so bad that they benched their quarterback, the guy who was the number 1 overall pick, and they're putting in a 38-year-old backup. We're going to lick our chops and go. And that 38-year-old backup became the first dude this year to throw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Andy Dalton ate their lunch. Worst loss by far of the weekend is the Raiders. I got Dallas 3, Cleveland 2, Raiders 1. You got a problem with those?
No problem. The Raiders are absolutely atop that list with being at home, being shredded like that, then having your coach call out the team and saying players are making business decisions. You're in week 3 of the NFL season.
Yep.
And that's the attitude that you have right now. That's the mindset that's going through the team after a performance like that. They are the biggest losers of the weekend. And you're right on the other ones. I think, Dallas is just, reinforces the deficiencies they have defensively, and they're not going to be able to change that anytime soon. And you look at the other games, there's where performances, I think maybe an honorable mention in there, and missed it, I'm sorry, Tampa Bay, just for that performance at home.
Yeah.
To look that lackluster, give Bo Nix that much confidence, and he was moving the football quickly, making good decisions with his legs in that first half. The defense suffocated Tampa Bay.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. And that's why I have the Broncos on my honorable mention for biggest wins.
And they usually see a lot of that. The team is on the winners list is because they probably did something that was a little bit shocking in regards to the weekend.
Yeah, so I guess Baltimore, Dallas was the same way, but they were winners and losers. I look at the list. Like, every game's a big win, every game's a big loss, right? You've never gone into a week and said this is not a big game. They're all big games. Now, some are bigger than others, but when you only play 17 of them, or in college football you only play 12 of them or 13, they're all big. Look, you could argue the Saints win was a big one. I'm sorry, the Eagles win was big. They're all big. When I always do this, I always kind of try to look big picture. Like, what does it mean for the bigger picture, as opposed to just in the week? And the Raiders loss. This is a loss that if you're fighting for a playoff spot, you're going to look back and just go, "What the hell happened there?" Browns are going to be the same way, and I may have the Browns on here every damn week because they should be so much better than they are. They should be. And I don't know, Baltimore saved their season, the Rams saved their season. And I'm impressed with the way Pittsburgh just finds a way to do it. When they're over under, like their win total, like right at 8.5. Somewhere right at that Mendoza line. Curious what you think at 505-246-0610. That's our text line this morning because our phone lines are down. This says Steelers are a fraud. Just like Big Ben's last season, when they started 11-0 or whatever it was and crashed down, they scored 3 touchdowns in 3 games. No way. All right, you might be right. You might be right. says, same person says, UNM being where they are with the football program is administration's fault. In mid-90s, Lobos had a chance to get into the Big 12, but UNM was, quote, loyal to the WAC at that time because they knew or were waiting to make the move to the new Mountain West, thinking that was better. Coach Saban said it best this past game day on ESPN. It's not only the coach's job to build a program, it's administration as well, investing into facilities, into the collective for NIL now. I don't know. I'm not sure I ever heard that they turned down the Big 12. Did you? I don't know that they turned down a chance to get into the Big 12. I'd never. Maybe you know something I don't, and that's certainly possible. I know that they were certainly loyal to that group that was leaving the WAC and going into the Mountain West. But I never heard that they turned down the Big 12. I mean, just because I haven't heard it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Jeff and JJ, Dodgers and Padres this week for the division. Does it get any better than this? It's from Ronnie. It kind of is. And look, here we come down the stretch. And the Dodgers hold a 3-game lead, and here come the Padres. And what are we? 156 games in. So there's 2 series left. Dodgers and Padres for the division. It starts tomorrow. And it's in Los Angeles. Hey, I was saying we had this conversation the other day about Shohei Ohtani's game on Thursday, the best game ever. And I was talking to Stigler late in the day. There was one game that came to my mind. And I hadn't heard anybody say it, and then I saw it on the text line later in the day. And it's simply because of the context of the game and when it was. Reggie Jackson hitting 3 home runs in a World Series game. You shaking your head?
Well, I think we have to separate that because I think playoff performances are always going to be magnified.
Okay.
So if we want to say best game ever, then yeah, I'd lean Reggie Jackson because you did it in the postseason. That would put Shohei's down. So if you ask the question like that, yes, like you're going to lean postseason performance.
Well, but even then, I wonder. I mean, 3 home runs is great, and he hit 3 home runs in that game. Reggie hit 3 home runs. So did Ohtani, right?
On the stage of what the game meant.
That one was in Game 6 of the World Series, and yeah. And I'm not taking anything away from it. And I'm not even sure which way I'm leaning, to be honest with you. Ohtani still went 6 for 6, 3 home runs, 10 RBI, 2 stolen bases, 17 total bases. Oh, and by the way, crossed the threshold of 50-50 that day. Reggie Jackson hit 3 home runs in a World Series game, which was, again, off of Bert Hooton, Elias Sosa, and Charlie Huff. Huh? That one I know is right. This one says, on June 13, 1971, Rick Wise threw a no-hitter and hit 2 home runs. Definitely a better single game. Shohei had a great game, but it was against a AAA squad. Is a no-hitter and hitting 2 home runs better than what Shohei did? That's pretty damn good, dude. I mean, if this is how deep we're digging, and I'm like, if that's what you believe,
if he did that in a game,
yeah, he did. That's that's an unbelievable day, dude.
That goes over Shohei's performance.
Okay, yeah, but that's what we're talking about. This is one of the best. Like, so Shohei, if you think that was better,
heard more about this guy then
Rick Wise,
yeah,
Rick Wise is a ball player. Yeah, that's when pitchers hit. Yeah,
that's what we're looking for.
Rick Wise, W-I-S-E, no-hitter, 2 home runs on June 23, 1971. Yeah. Was that better? Shohei will go, fine. Yes. Fine, watch me
Shohei
do
it.
He's like, all right, I'm going to do that next year. Exactly.
In the postseason.
Right?
With 2 home runs.
We'll hit 3 off of 3 different pitchers. All right, we'll wrap you up, get you ready for 2 Monday Night Football games when we get back. 505-246-0610. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, I'm glad you're with us on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom. Boom.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Bills, we'll have that for you here on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The sports animal, your home for the National Football League. We'll have that one for you. It is, that's nice. I mean, that's a good one. Jaguars are desperate. Like, Jaguars, do you buy into the desperate team thing? It's at 5.5 point dogs, or are you into the Bills tonight because they're better?
Well, if it's 5.5 points, Jaguars.
It's the number, right?
they cover and or win outright. It's a trend.
Bengals at home are 7-point favorites over the Commandos. All right, so you get a look. Everybody's got a high draft pick quarterback. What's the lowest drafted quarterback in these 4 games? I believe to be Josh Allen, right? Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. Lawrence was number 1 overall. What was Josh Allen, like 7-ish? You got the Commandos with Jaden Daniels was number 2, and Joe Burrow was number 1 with the Bengals.
Yeah, so it's 1, 1, 2, like 6 or 7.
Yeah. Yeah. You got all kinds of big money at quarterback tonight. So that's your numbers. That's what you got to know. We'll have the first game, the Jaguars and Bills, right here for you on the Sports Animal. What are people going to be talking about around here? New Mexico United got a own goal from Loudon yesterday, and a 1-0 victory for your first place United as they continue to push towards the number 1 seed and winning a conference championship. With a few games left, the big win yesterday, 1-0 out of the ball yard. Isotopes won their finale. The season's over. Thank goodness in a lot of respects. A franchise record for losses, I believe, for the Isotopes. And now it's just soccer out at the ball pitch, so you can just lay down that sod. Antonio Pierce blasted his team, the Raiders, for making business decisions in that brutal loss yesterday at home to the Carolina Panthers. The Dolphins quarterback, Skylar Thompson, painful rib injury. So Tua's out. Skylar Thompson is questionable. Tim Boyle is your quarterback for that high-flying offense, the quarterback out of Kentucky, who's in his 6th season. And they also signed Jason Huntley, right? Is it Jason? Why do I keep saying Jason?
Well, because Jason is
Tyler
former New
Huntley.
Mexico State running back.
Is that who it is? It's
right?
Tyler Huntley. Yeah, Tyler Huntley. So that's their situation there. And that's another team which, look, man, your quarterback goes down. Your whole expectation usually, and I'll give you the outlier, but like Tua went down and all of a sudden you're like, oh, like you could just feel the life out of the fish, right? Like, oh, the only exception, and it took 2 weeks for that exception. When Jordan Love went down, it was like, oh, the Packers are done. And Malik Willis has come in and kept the train on the rails. But if Josh Allen goes down, it's like, oh, right? Joe Burrow goes down with the Bengals. I mean, we saw what happened. Jake Browning was fine.
They trust their backups. Like Miami trusted Skylar Thompson, but then you see it, and it was slow. He got himself hurt, and everyone will scream after the fact. Why don't you have a better backup? Yeah. All these teams think they have a decent enough backup because we're not like last year. No one was expecting Joe Flacco to be the dude that saved the team season when he came in late for Cleveland. I thought Andy Dalton was throwing through 300 yards.
Remember when Dak got hurt a few years ago, and your boy
Cooper Rush goes 5-0,
right, or 4-0? I know we were calling him, Brother Time or Uncle Time because he was undefeated until he wasn't. And it was like, oh, man. There was literally talking head.
Should have kept him, and then maybe had money to pay Derrick Henry and better defensive players.
Well, he's still there, right?
I mean,
make him the number
Dak
one.
Prescott $60 million.
Well, there was talk, though, at that time. Well, maybe they shouldn't bring Dak back. I mean, Cooper Rush, he's undefeated. He's the better quarterback. Cooper Rush should be your quarterback. There was that conversation till he lost to the Eagles, and he brought Dak back and whatever. Backup quarterbacks, man. So we're only on a few right now, right? Miami and, Easton Stick came in yesterday for Justin Herbert, and you saw what happened, right?
Yeah.
Carolina.
That's why they brought in. No, they brought in Heineke yesterday.
Oh, is that where they went?
Yeah.
Carolina.
They traded for him.
Carolina's on their backup quarterback. How'd that work out? Just saying, man. Is he still their backup quarterback?
Andy Dalton is the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers.
I'm just telling you, dude. There is going to be a moment where Dalton is going to get hit, and they're going to have to go to the bench. And from what I see, there's not another quarterback on that roster.
You like to talk about the mental side of sport a lot, especially football.
I do.
I can't imagine after that performance
I know, dude.
Being Bryce Young.
I know.
Or let alone anyone else on that roster if they have to go back to Bryce Young.
I'm not arguing with you. And I'm sure, he wanted the TA team, go team, but how do you think he was feeling inside?
Dead?
Standing there, and they showed him dapping up his boys coming off, tapping him on the shoulders, attaboy, attaboy. But in his heart of hearts, as he's sitting there watching Andy Dalton move that team that was lifeless with him, lifeless, to a victory on the road. All right, Jim Rome Show is next. Heard with Colin Coward after that. 2 minutes in at 4, and then you get what do we got? The Bills and the Jaguars. All right, Manny's working on phones, so maybe we'll have phones tomorrow, right?
Let's hope.
All right. Adrian, great work on the visuals. Big day for you?
Huge day.
All right, enjoy it. Hey, be good to each other, please. We're back tomorrow morning with award-winning radio starting at 7 a.m. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you in the morning.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.